All right, so in experiment 2, we're just going to be creating a custom collider. So getting more practice with ProBuilder, and now this time using it to create custom collision. So this activity, we're going to just starting with a single cube, and we're going to be using extrude to make our one object. All right, so we're going to start with just a cube, make it, move it to be the size of the overall forklift in the back end. And notice it doesn't need to be perfect. We don't need to round the top of this and make it match exactly. We want to just have a rough silhouette of the object that encapsulates and feels close to the collision as best as possible. So you'll go through and walk through and extruding. Here you'll see a shot of when we're actually extruding to make collision around the seat, and then going forward, just continuing to extrude faces, scale them in, extrude forward from there, and it will get you very, very accurate collision. Right? The reason why we don't want to just take our forklift and just say, let's just add a mesh collider, is because then all of the little details of this forklift would have collision. So like our steering wheel would have its own piece of collision, and all the meshes you see would have exact collision. We can be more efficient while still making it feel just as accurate. Right? You might be wondering why, like, hey, how come we have this hole cut out here? Why didn't we just extrude and cover everything? That's a great suggestion, and at first I was going to take that approach, but then realized, well, we're making a game with the grav null, and this is meant for scraps, so there might be a scenario where we want to throw something and it goes through the forklift. If it just hits an invisible wall, that might look a little strange. So we can still get accurate collision while meeting the mechanics of the game itself. All right, so once you're all finished, you're able to just very easily change your entity type to collider, and you'll see that it will showcase a different mesh that basically will showcase like this, but then when you play in the editor, you don't see the mesh renderer. Very similar to how triggers work, where you can pretty much have the mesh show up while you're editing, but then it's not rendering when you're actually testing the game. So the experiment will walk you through creating a piece of collision for the body over here, and then I challenge you after you've done that to create a second custom collider for this fork around here, the actual fork piece. You could make it one solid collider if you want to. The reason why I made them two is so if we ever want to set this fork to be interacted with the grav null to slide up and down, or if we wanted it to be animated, we can have separate pieces. So definitely when you're going through and adding collision to your own objects, or when you're finding your assets in Project and Portfolio 3, or if you find something on the asset store, most oftentimes it's not going to have custom collision added for you. If you find an artist to make assets for you, they're not going to make collision for you 100% of the time. You want to do that yourself using techniques just like this.